gotta bend my legs so far to get a good glimpse of y'all. We're doing Star Wars lore today. So, we start out with the prequels. I haven't read the comic books. We're purely doing this off the movies and by memory. I have not rewatched them. There's a light in my eyes and I'm being blinded as we speak. Prequel trilogy. Let's start there. Background context. We got 4 groups, okay? We got the Republic. These are the main faction, okay? Then we got the Separatists. Soapbox looking asses. And they are terrorists, okay? Keep that in mind. Then we got the Jedi Order. I think it looks something like this. I don't know, I'm doing this on memory. We got the Jedi Order. And finally, we got the Sith. I'm going to draw them as a triangle. These are the 4 factions. Now the Sith, these guys have been dead for years, okay? Like, they have not been around at this point for millennia. Remember, there's a galaxy far, far away, time long, long ago. But the Jedis, they won the war. And now we have the Jedi Council, right? This Jedi Council, now they're pretty cool. You see, these guys, they are keepers of the peace, not warriors, and they use the Force, the light side of the Force to be exact. There's 2 sides of the Force because the Force is a racist. We got the dark side and the light side. Dear God, George Lucas was mentally unstable. But here's what basically happened. The Force, these 2 guys had this big war where eventually these guys came on top and they thought they wiped out the Sith. But now, many, many millennia later, during an ongoing war between the Separatists and the Republic, all of a sudden, new Sith. But that's not here yet. Basically, these guys are at war. All of a sudden, the Jedi Council sends 2 Jedis, a Jedi Knight and his Padawan, by the names of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's got them dreads, okay? He's fire with it. Beautiful hair. And they go to this cool, big, separatist ship. It's red. But while they're in the separatist ship, it turns out this separatist ship is doing a blockade of the planet of Naboo. That's it. Now, this separatist ship is doing a blockade of the planet Naboo. And the Jedi, they're not very happy about that because Naboo is the home of this lady called Padme, who's like the princess or something, or the queen, emperor, empress, I don't know. But they don't like this blockade. But apparently, because of the rules of this warfare, because it's a very political warfare, for some reason, like we haven't seen enough of those recently, these guys say that their stuff, their blockade, is totally legal. That's an issue with the Jedi. So they go in to try and keep the peace. While they're there, they get attacked by battle droids. Specifically, as the clones would put it, clankers. They manage to escape and fly all the way down to the planet of Naboo, where they end up meeting this dude, right? His name is Jar Jar Binks. Darth Jar Jar Binks. And he's got a freaky nose that kind of looks like that. Don't ask me why he's serpent the planet, I don't know. Now, Jar Jar Binks, he has an issue. The Gungan people, which he is a part of, are also under threat of the Separatists invading Naboo. So, he makes a deal with the Jedi. They're currently Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. These guys make a deal to work together to thus save the day. They end up saving this lady, Padme. Okay? They save the lady named Padme alongside a few of her friends, and they all leave together on a really cool silver ship that I love the design of. But I'm a bad artist, so it's just gonna look like a dick. These guys all head off over to the planet that you'll come very accustomed to, Tatooine, the desert planet that everyone should know by this point. It's got 2 suns and a whole hell of a lot of crime. Now, they get down there, but the problem is their ship has a broken part because it's kind of shitty. So they realize that they can win enough money to afford a replacement part. Problem is, to win that money, they need to do this thing called a pod race, which no one in the group knows how to do. My shit's coming off. So yeah, no one here, not a single Jedi Knight, knows how to pod race. even though they could just use the Force and let it feel their way through, kind of like a pervert. But who knows? Instead, they go to this place, the place that they're trying to buy the part from, and they find a little boy there by the name of Anakin. Now you see, Anakin, he's a bit of a twerp, right? And he starts talking. He starts trying to rizz up Padme. Now, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, they're a bit concerned by this, because, you know, as a child, as a princess, that's weird. But she seems to be into it, and by becoming friends, Anakin tells them that apparently he can pod race. And he's willing to help them so long as they use some of the money to pay him out of slavery because he was given up as a child and now his mother's working there too. Now his mom is going to be left there even if they win because you can only afford one slave at a time. Now basically, I'm going to be saying that a lot, basically. So, Anakin goes in the pod race. And it goes decently, I guess you could say. It's really fast, a lot of people die, and there's a lot of bloodshed, but somehow he crosses the finish line first. Right behind the dude who tried to kill him during the race, who I forgot the name of. Good job. With that money, they end up being able to afford to take Anakin away, and everyone manages to get back to a planet called Coruscant. Coruscant. I think they go to Coruscant. Yeah, they go to Coruscant, right? It's this big city planet. There's a lot of shit there. But the best part is the Republic is there. Now, the Republic, they try and, you know, using the Senate, the power of democracy, which you'll learn very intimately soon, and they try to use that in these weird tube things to convince them to get rid of the blockade. When that doesn't work, they head back on their own to try and help out. And in the process, they get the help of the Gungan people. That's right, that group with the weird dick mouths, they're important. The Gungan people, with the help of General Jar Jar Binks, don't ask me how he got promoted, they help the Jedi take out the droids there. Oh my god. They help take out the droids there, which then leads us into something very bad, with a reveal that the Sith have returned. Yeah, you know how they were dead for like millennia? Turns out, no, they're not. And they're back with this dude, right? His name is Darth Maul. He has a double-bladed lightsaber. And shit. He has a double-bladed lightsaber. You want to know what else he has? Probably issues with abstinence. That bastard is not being abstinent. So, how can we fix this? The Jedi ask. Simple, really. Through the power of violence. So the Jedi, right, they don't like the cut of this dude's jib. So, through the power of Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they fight the evil Darth Maul with his double-bladed lightsaber. In the process, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan's mentor, gets murked, and Darth Maul gets cut in half before falling down a pit, where he technically doesn't get murked. Ain't that funny? Now we have Qui-Gon Jinn leaving the planet a new Jedi Knight, taking on Anakin, the little boy, as his Padawan. End of the first movie. Next movie, Attack of the Clones. So, the war's been going on for a bit longer now. Anakin, he's now a fully fledged Jedi warrior. Technically not actually. He's a Padawan, a little runt, or as some might even call him, a twink. And Anakin is not happy about that. So what does Anakin do? He throws a hissy fit. Not yet, at least. For now, Obi-Wan is trying to investigate a mystery. Because you see, the lady, the funny lady, Padme Amidala, I think that's her last name, she's sleeping in bed, okay? All of a sudden, through the window, these little worm boys come out, and they try and kill her. No one's happy about that. And what's the cause of this? Well, Obi-Wan finds it out. And he discovers that the one trying to kill Padme is a bounty hunter by the name of Jango Fett. This cool dude with an even cooler helmet that kind of looks like a dick again. Now, Jango Fett has a jetpack, as the name does not imply. So he manages to escape from Obi-Wan, who's now gotten rid of his braids. Not anymore, he says. Now he's rocking with an average cut. Pretty fire, not gonna lie. He also grew a beard, so that's something. But where does Jango Fett take him? Of course, with a tracker on his ship, Obi-Wan gets led to the ocean planet of Kamino. Kamino, as the name implies, being an ocean planet, is basically just a giant fucking ocean. Now you see, Kamino, when Obi-Wan goes there, he finds these people with really long necks. Like, I'm talking exceedingly long, to the point people have drawn fetish out of it. So what does these people tell him? Turns out, Obi-Wan, who's they're seeing as the de facto person in charge now, apparently another man like him once came here and ordered the creation of an amount of clones of Jango Fett's DNA to serve as an army of clones that can age faster, stronger reflex, stronger everything. These guys are cool. We love the clones. The boys, as we call them. So Obi-Wan tells the Jedi Council about this, and they think that's pretty hype. So they start coming over to Kamino while Obi-Wan goes to track down Jango Fett. Now accompanied by his friends and his friend's lover, Anakin, who has now grown braids just like his master, and of course, Padme Amidala, going full girl boss mode to kick ass. I'm doing this both because it's a funny stereotype and for the fact that it makes it easier to differentiate them. So what do these guys get led to? Well, by following Jango Fett on his really cool ship called the Slave One that Disney's trying to tell you isn't called the Slave One because that's insensitive. It's called the Slave One, you shucks. So these guys follow the Slave One as it flies off to the planet of Planet. It's a big, red, sandy planet, because I'm pretty sure George Lucas has a thing for sandy planets. And once they get there, they find a factory of droids. Turns out that the droids were about to be replaced by the clones, but because the Jedi Council captured the clones, now they can't use the clones. Instead, they're using droids still. Even though the droids are, like, really stupid. All the time. Why do they keep using droids? I don't know. So what happens after this, you might be wondering? Well, these three all get captured, and they get put on these cool poles. But here's the thing. 2 of them are Jedi and 1 of them is a girl boss. So they all manage to escape the poles and fight these cool giant creatures. And what happens eventually? We have the first fight of the planet I just remembered the name of, Geonosis. With the help of an army of clones, the Jedi Council arrives all together to fight off the evil group of droids. Jango Fett, who gets killed by Mace Windu, a dude with a purple lightsaber. And of course, an evil second Sith going by the name of the one and only Count Dooku. Now, Count Dooku gets in this little fight with Obi-Wan and Anakin, kind of maybe rips off one of Anakin's arms, which you will come to learn this very quickly, but the Skywalker family has an issue with holding on to their hands. So, what happens after this? Yoda comes in, manages to knock Mace Windu away, but they can't finish him off because he threatens to kill the unconscious Obi-Wan, so Yoda has to put all this force into that, while Mace Windu, Count Dooku escapes. I'm touching myself tonight after this. So what happens? Well, end of that movie. Now the Jedi Council has a clone army, moving on to Revenge of the Sith. My favorite Star Wars movie ever made. Yes, flame me in the comics, Empire Strikes Back fans. That's my second favorite. So how does Revenge of the Sith go? Well, you got this four-armed dude, right? General Grievous. And he's been causing a lot of trouble since the Battle of Geonosis. He is a droid, but also kind of like a cyborg who collects lightsabers from the Jedi he's killed. He's built to kill Jedi. Same thing Jango Fett was done, and they both get walloped in the first scene they're in. With the one and only, now fully grown up, with a flat head, General Kenobi, yes, he's a general now because we're in war, maggots, shoots him with a gun. Yeah, he just shoots him. He doesn't kill him with a lightsaber, it's just a gun. A laser gun, but still a gun. You see why I love this movie? So, Grievous is dead, and with it, the Separatist army is basically screwed. The Separatists at this point have been going through so much shit, and they're getting betrayed by everyone. The Republic is warring against them. The Jedi Council is fighting them. Even their own benefactors, the Sith, are starting to kill them. So yeah, it's not going well for them, even when all they really wanted was equality. Turns out, the Separatists were kind of the good guys. Which makes it even funnier when they get their asses handed, I'm not gonna lie. Because they control a bunch of trading posts and factories, which makes it easy for them to create a droid army. Lo and behold, there's this dude who you're gonna really learn to love. His name is Emperor Palpatine. Now, Emperor Palpatine, despite looking like an average old-ass man, he can shoot lightning from his fingers, and he's been trying to groom and manipulate Anakin Skywalker this entire time, and to turn towards the dark side because he's deemed as the chosen one with a really high metachlorian count. If you want me to tell you what metachlorians are, I do not know. I don't know what the hell a metachlorian is, but apparently Anakin's juicing because he's got a ton of them. So what happens? Palpatine basically tells Anakin that, Padme, your wife is going to die in childbirth. Which sucks, but hey, I can help you because there are some pathways of the Force many consider to be unnatural, such as the ability to revive people. That's gonna get broken in a few movies from now. I love the sequel trilogy. What happens then, you might be asking? Well, Anakin gets convinced, but also realizes that turns out the Sith they've been hunting this entire time, the one who sent Darth Maul, the one who killed Qui-Gon Jinn, the one who's been doing all of the manipulation behind the scenes to cause this entire war, is none other than Senator Palpatine. And once the Jedi Council finds out, they obviously go, as any good council would, to arrest him, where he proceeds to kill a ton of them with his crazy Sith powers, because none of them have been trained to fight Sith in ages, because the Sith have been dead for millennia. So, Mace Windu, whatever his name is, gets thrown out of a window by lightning. And all of a sudden, Palpatine goes from being a normal-looking old-ass man to an old-ass man. And then he basically tells Anakin Skywalker, you are going to be my bitch now. Anakin is surprisingly on board with this. Don't know why I drew him like that. Like a Pixar mom. What happens next? Anakin goes on a rage, and Palpatine uses his secret plan with the clones all along. Inhibitor chips in their brain that can control everything they think. And he tells them to execute Order 66. What is Order 66? I'll put it into perspective for you. Order 66 is kill all the Jedi. And that's exactly what the clones do, to the point they even storm this giant building where all the Jedi hang out, and they kill everyone alongside Anakin, who's now been known as Darth Vader. Ooh, scary. What happens, you might be asking? Well, he gets in this cool, really cool fight actually, my favorite scene in the movie, battle with the one and only, his old master, Yep, you heard it right. Obi-Wan Kenobi in the best dick measuring contest the world's ever seen. Now, Anakin gets cut into pieces, burned, and overall is just not having a good day. Palpatine finds him and ends up being able to bring him back to life. Through the power of science, not the Force. Which is another thing people should note. Padme has 2 kids on this weird-looking ship. Okay? One, Leia, and the other, Luke. And now these kids, while they're pretty cute, they also kill their mom in childbirth, so that's something. Obi-Wan decides that the kids need to be separated at birth so that they can each go down different paths without being under threat of murder. Which, kind of reasonable? Slightly? I don't know. You decide in the comments or something.